Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, I should say, not afternoon.
No, not you.
It's great to be with you. There's a lot going on tonight, but we are hanging in there and doing what the NAACP is supposed to be doing. There's also the state conference that is going on right now. So we may have a few people attending that. That being said, our meeting is our meeting and we did not change, because we have a lot of information to pass and a lot of good work going on. With that being said, those of you on the call who may not be familiar, I am Julius Spain, president of Arlington Branch NAACP, and we're going to get this started. It is 7:01. I think we have our assistant, our vice chair of the Religious Affairs Committee, Ms. Rosa Dunkley. So Ms. Rosa, would you mind open us up with a word of prayer?
Heavenly Father, once more again, God, we just come to say thank you, Lord God, for this day. Thank you for keeping us safe on this day, God. Oh God, as we prepare to go into our meeting, Father God, I ask that you will be with each and every one of us, God. Oh God, continue, Father God, to let those that don't have vaccine themselves, Father God, so that we may live, Father God, that our children might also live, God. We give you glory, honor, and praise. It's in the precious name of Jesus that I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sister Dunkley, and we really appreciate you. We're going to go next with we're going to get a roll call of the officers. Madam Secretary, if you don't mind, roll call of officers, please.
Sure. President Spain, who is present. First Vice President Kent Carter.
Here.
Third Vice President Michael Heminger.
Present.
Treasurer Roy Austin.
Here.
Assistant Treasurer Adriana Spain. She's present.
Present, sorry.
Sure. I'm the Secretary, Wanda Younger, present. Assistant Secretary Dominic Jenkins. Executive Committee at Large, Karen Nightingale. Executive Committee at Large, James Younger.
Present.
At Large Member, Carolyn Kane. And I believe she's here.
Yeah.
And that concludes the roll call of the officers.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to entertain a motion to suspend with rules to accept the agenda as has been shared with the participants, attendees, and the members of the exec committee. Entertain a motion.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we suspend the rules, normal order for our meeting to accept this agenda. Any questions? Any questions? Any question? All those in favor, would you usually say aye?
Aye.
All opposed have the same right? Ayes have it, motion carried. Thank you very much. So we have the agenda. Everyone who registered, I believe, should have received a copy of today's agenda. Moving on, we're going to go right into our financial report by Mr. Roy Younger. Those of you that had registered in advance should have received a redacted copy of the treasurer's report. So redacted being we don't show everything. We show you, with the expenditures and the amounts. And if you are a member and you want to know more about what those expenditures are, the details, please reach out to the Secretary Treasurer and we can make that available to you. So Mr. Treasurer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. The Treasurer's report for the month of September 2021 is as follows. In the beginning of the month, the checking account had $34,845.08. Donations for the month were $34,151.95. Of that, $30,000 came from the Britain Foundation, and another $4,100 and so came back from NAACP. Our expenditures for the month of September totaled $24,483.77. There were 4 scholarship payments of $5,000 each and 2 of $1,500. And again, the total amount of expenditures is $24,483.77. At the end of the month, the business savings account, which did not change from last month, is $181,841.39. Adding to the checking account, which is $44,513.26. The total account for the month of September is $226,354.65.
Right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. I'll entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report with any necessary corrections, if there be any, and turn it over to the audit.
I make a motion to accept the report.
This is third VP, I second.
Can properly move that we accept the report coming from the treasurer, and I will add to turn over, submit it for audit at the necessary time at the end of this year. Any questions? If there's any questions, just come off mute. Any questions? Any questions? There being no questions, all vote by usual sign of saying aye.
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 Including members. All opposed have the same right. Ayes have it, motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. You and your assistant, my lovely wife, Adriana Spain, for your hard work. You need to get her to work, by the way. No, you carrying the weight. So here we are. We're right on schedule, and this is the block on the agenda where I'll have a few remarks, and I will try to keep it limited. You probably noticed I got a different background today. Today, because I'm a South Arlingtonian, I'm a Penrosian. So this is a picture, I kind of stole it. I think I saw it on Arlington Now. So this is a, you got the Arlington Draft House, you got a few other things going on. So this is my neighborhood, y'all, your neighborhood as well. So Penrose is where it's at. Ooh, ooh. By the way, love it. So what I'm going to do is talk just a little bit about some of the things that have been going on. Many of you probably want to know about, of course, the banquet, because if you're on this call and you have not purchased your ticket tonight for the banquet, I am hoping that one of the, maybe the secretary or one of our executive committee members, or even Marvin himself, will put the link in the chat box. We want all members, right? We want all members of our branch of the NAACP to attend your virtual banquet. This year, we have the pleasure of bringing in the number 2 in seniority, I would say, Mr. Leon Russell, who's the chair of the board of the NAACP, who will be our keynote speaker. We did have Marilyn Mosby, who was the state attorney out of Baltimore, but something came up last week. I spoke with her, and we just had to make a quick change. And with that being said, our welcoming remarks now, and all this will be live, none of this is recorded, will be by no one other than Jennifer Carroll Foy, former member of the General Assembly, powerhouse activist, was pushing ERA really hard. Y'all know that. She's a champion. She has a great story, and she has no problem. She's going to do our welcoming remarks for the banquet. Also later on tonight, you will get to hear who the awardees are this year for the banquet. And we had a month or so of nominations coming in, and committee, Freedom Fund Banquet Committee made recommendations yesterday to your executive committee. We met, and those nominations were approved. So you'll hear those names later tonight. We've been busy. And what I tell folks a lot is that we here in the NAACP, as it is a nonprofit social justice and civil rights organization, it's dependent on our volunteers. And one thing I always ask the volunteers, don't just get your $30 and say, hey, hoorah, I'm a member of the NAACP. Come and be a part of it. And we can use a little something from everybody. We don't discriminate. And it's been quite pleasurable, I should say, in the past year, 2 years, at least, that we've seen our branch of the NAACP move from around a little bit over 200 some odd people. And I think the membership stats were shared with you today. But that's because of our level of engagement. And, long gone are the days of, we can stand up and hold up, we can do a march and we can do, things like that. But we are policy driven. And if it's not about policy or changing the policy or helping the disenfranchised or others, then we probably not going to do too much about it. We want to see results at the end of the day. We don't, we can be friends with a lot of people and we can be adversaries to a lot of folks. But at the end of the day, the mission and charge of the NAACP is quite simple. So in that vein, we work hard and we challenge the status quo. And we challenge a system that for decades, centuries, have oppressed so many people. That's why we work so hard and we're seeing results. I will take this time and mention something that you've seen in the news quite a bit, and we are involved. It's regarding the deaths of citizens in our detention facility. No human, I don't care how sick you are in the outer world to a certain extent, should not be coming to our jailhouse and dying. End of the sentence, exclamation point, that's it. We have systems in place whereby when people come in, if they present certain conditions, we should be monitoring them. They should not be coming to the jailhouse to get medication. They should not be coming to the jailhouse to get mental health assistance. Our homeless and many others are suffering out there. And alarmingly, since October of 2020, we've lost 2 people in the jailhouse. Your NAACP is on top of it. I said something about a week ago that, justice will prevail. And it will. As long as I have a heartbeat, we'll get down to the root of it and find out what happened. And those policies perhaps that need to be changed will be changed, but also those in positions of leadership that knew better should be held accountable. There is no excuse. Sorry is not good enough. If that was your husband, your brother, your uncle, your father who died in the jailhouse and you didn't know a year later what happened, you have a problem with it. And all of these men, mind you, I would say going back in the past 6 years, with the exception of one, because the record states that he's white, but he's darker than me. We know how that goes. They lost their lives. They have died. We've had 6 deaths in 5.5 years in the detention facility. So we're working hard with our allies to get down to the bottom of that. And that's all I can say on this matter. Know that we're working on it. There's many other areas that this team is working on. We know about the issues that went on at the Serrano Apartments back in October of 2020, and make no mistake about it. The train didn't leave the station until the NAACP showed up. But we're team players. But I also know that there's more to be done, not just at the Serrano Apartments, but other affordable housing units in Arlington. We know that at the branch. And trust and believe our housing committee led by Kelly McBeth and with our third VP, Michael Heminger, both of whom sit on the Housing Commission now. We're getting in the weeds, and we're going to make sure what happened at the Serrano for years, more especially during a national pandemic, never happens again to another citizen in Arlington. Bet your bottom dollar on that. Okay? But we're going to do that to the best of our ability, I should say. There's always pushback, but that's okay. Our job here in the NAACP, I'm going to wait for somebody to say it. What is our job in the NAACP? Somebody can just tell me. Then come off the mic and tell me.
Agitate.
There you go. That's one. That's it. Agitate. Agitate. Okay, so we have been working with legislators in the Northern Virginia area. We've been speaking with senators, Favola in particular. We have had some meetings with Delegate Patrick Hope, and also we've been meeting with some of our elected officials here. The county is going to be putting forward, right? You've probably been watching this, the legislative priorities for the next General Assembly. Just know that your NAACP is looking at that document, and we have our list of priorities that we would like to see kind of woven into the county's legislative priorities. We probably won't get them all, but we want to ensure that what the county is pushing down to the General Assembly is in line with what we're looking at as it relates to all the things the NAACP are kind of like responsible for, whether that's labor, whether that's economic development, housing, whether that's wages, jobs, the criminal justice system. We're weighing in on that, and trust and believe the volunteers that are in positions of leadership here are doing a magnificent job. As I get ready to close and turn it over to Mr. Marvin Nells so he can talk about the Freedom Fund Banquet, because again, I think tonight, thank you, Marvin, you've already put the link in there. I hope we can get at least 20 more people tonight who have not signed up to go ahead and register. It's only $30 for the virtual banquet next Thursday. Let me say this. I started off the conversation about activism and civil rights, kind of, and social justice. I will say this, this is not for everybody, okay? And we challenge you, we challenge folks to be involved. There's a lot of people that have been at the NAACP here in Arlington long before JD Spain and all of us showed up. And they did great work, but it's a new day. And in a few years, and whatever that may be, someone will come in and replace me. But in this time, it's incumbent upon all of us who believe in change, good, positive change, working together in unity to get on this battlefield for social justice and civil rights, because it's not going anywhere. There are vices and people out there who are trying to take us back, and we're not going back. Many of you know I'm a 26-year retired Marine, so I don't mind being on the battlefield for social justice and civil rights. My question is, are you? Don't retreat. Stay in the fight. We need you. The community needs you. And with that, I think I'm right on time, 7:19, and I'm going to turn this over to no one other than this gentleman, by the way, was a little bit reluctant to take over, but I'm so proud of him. We're all proud of him. He's doing a wonderful job leading this effort this year for the Freedom Fund Banquet, Mr. Marvin Nells.
Mr. President, good evening, everyone. I am delighted to be here with you all again. This is always a great occasion when we have our monthly membership meetings. And this one is really special because it's the last meeting before we have our Freedom Fund Banquet. And like Mr. President said, go ahead on and register. I posted the link in there, make it easy for you. You don't even have to search anymore. It's right there, all easy. Yeah, so the Freedom Fund Banquet Committee has been meeting every Saturday, hashing out the events that's going to go on for the Freedom Fund virtual banquet. And since this is the last meeting before our Freedom Fund banquet, I would just like to take a second to give kudos, congrats, and thank you to the Special Events Committee, and I will call them by name. Miss Leah Evans, Miss Leah Maduro, Miss Laurel Langhorn, Miss Karen Nightingale, Miss Adriana Spain, Miss Wanda Younger, and Mr. President JD. Let's give them a virtual round of applause for the work they put in. I would be nothing without them, and they are very special to me. So this last weekend was the conclusion of our nomination process for our awards for the Freedom Fund banquet. And we had some outstanding candidates. And again, I'm going to call their names. And the reason why I'm going to call their names, because I want you to be familiar with some of these names I'm calling, because these are the people who are on the ground doing a lot of the work here in Arlington County. Miss Wilma Jones, Miss Mary Fleur Ventura, Macedonia Baptist Church and Lamont West, Primrose School of Arlington, Arlington VA Links, Kelly Macbeth, Kimmy Reed, who organized the Students for Racial Equity program. She's in high school right now. Miss Jamie Abrams, the Serrano Tennis Team, Miss Whitney Kernodle, the Wakefield High School football team, Miss Victoria Omekam, Miss Carolyn Kane, Miss Devanshi Patel, and Miss Emily Vincent. Let's give them all a virtual round of applause. Thank you. I think Mr. President explained before that the awards process we went through, it took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it was really good. We all gave pros and cons, goods and bad. We all had candidates, favorite candidates, and we all had legitimate reasons why our candidate should win the award. If I could give everybody on this list an award, I would, but unfortunately, that's not how it works. But all these people are more than worthy of receiving an award. But now I will make the announcement for all the separate awards. We have 4 awards this year. The first award, the Willard W. Woody Britton Community Appreciation Award, goes to Macedonia Baptist Church and Lamont West, the trustee, the chairman of the trustee ministry. Round of applause for Macedonia. The Charles P. Monroe Civil Rights Award goes to Mr. Brad Haywood, who is the Chief Public Defender in Arlington. Round of applause for Mr. Brad. The Henry L. Holmes Meritorious Service Award goes to Miss Wilma Jones. Miss Wilma Jones. I think I could spend the next 5 minutes naming some of the things that Miss Wilma does. We all know what Miss Wilma does, especially the master class and the debate. I still watch it every now and then. And the Civil Rights Activist of the Year Award. For this award, previous years we didn't have a name for it, but as you noticed in the previous 3 awards, there's a person that is identified along with the award. So we also came to a consensus on recommendation to the executive committee to rename the Civil Rights Activist of the Year Award to the Esther G.I. Cooper Civil Rights Activist of the Year Award. Ms. Esther was the founder and the first president of the Arlington chapter of the NAACP, and as well as a civil rights activist in Arlington who done some great things. And after I finish talking, I'm going to post her bio that we have so you all can read it for yourself. And the Esther Cooper Civil Rights Award of the Year goes to Wakefield High School football team. Let's give them a round of applause. And that concludes the awards portion. Once again, let's give a round of applause to all the nominees. I really thank you all for participating, for actively participating in selecting candidates for these awards. We had a total of 23 submissions, and they were all well-deserved, and we just had to narrow it down. Again, thanks, and I will post the small citation in the chat so you can read yourself. Thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and we really appreciate all of your hard work, you and the committee. One thing about a leader, a leader never forgets the people in the fight with them, and I very much appreciate you giving some kudos to the team, because it was definitely a team effort on your part. I was a non-voting member, but you did a magnificent job along with Laurel, Leah, Karen, Adriana Spain, and oh, excuse me, I am muted. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your hard work. We really appreciate it. Thank you for recognizing the members of your team, and hats off to everyone. So again, you heard the names tonight. I believe all of those individuals have been notified. They will be presented officially their awards during our Freedom Fund banquet. Press releases have gone out today, as well as letters will be sent to those individuals. We had received again a number of applications into the branch this year. Wish we can give everyone something, but in this case, the committee and the executive committee at the end of the day made a decision on the selectees. So again, round of applause to all of those. They've done magnificent work in keeping with the mission and objective of the NAACP. And we, again, along with the Chairman Russell, I know we'll do this as well. We will recognize them individually, again, at our Freedom Fund banquet next Thursday between 7 and 9 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate your time. Okay, now we get into the part of the program tonight that I know many of you have come here. We have it teed up from 7:30 to 7:50, so I don't have much time left here to run my mouth. But this young lady, Miss Tanja Thompson, her bio has been shared with many of you. So you know what she's been through. I happen to, again, be a veteran, but I know her husband well, Mr. Philip Thompson, Esquire, Marine Corps retired. I think he may be on the call tonight. But this month is breast cancer awareness, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in that vein, I know we don't have a health committee here fully staffed up with volunteers, so there's room there for those that may be listening. But I thought about Tanja and what she's been through and the work she's doing out in Loudoun, along with the Loudoun NAACP and Phil and Pastor Michelle Thomas. The words, her encouraging words, and how a testament of not only faith and godly, but how she just fought that battle. And so she's with us tonight to talk a little bit about what she's been through, perhaps some things we should be looking at and paying attention to, both men and women. Again, this is I think it's appropriate tonight, this month, that we bring awareness to a disease that has affected so many people in the world, and many of us may know survivors or people that have fallen because of breast cancer and alike. But it is my pleasure and my honor to bring to you tonight Ms. Tanja Thompson, Senior Master Sergeant, United States Air Force, retired. Tanja, where are you at? Show your face.
You can see me. I'm here.
Okay, well, I'm listen. Hey,
How can you miss all this pink? Come on now.
Look, see what I'm talking about, y'all? She ready to give out some act right. So I ain't gonna stick around long. Tanja, thank you for being with us. Again, on behalf of the executive committee and all the members of the Arlington branch and NAACP, again, thank you for blessing us with your time. This, of course, will be shared with everybody. We're recording it, but the floor is now yours.
So first of all, thank you, JD, and thank you for your service. As a military veteran as well, 25 years in the Air Force, I know the value that we bring to any organization, especially when we call for leadership. And I'm going to dig right into it. Usually I can spend an hour just talking about this very disease that could have taken me if I had not been with the forethought to be able to put forth my training and my expertise in ensuring that I got the services that I needed. So let me ask, I'm going to start with this. 1, 365, 8, 31, 40%, and 29. Those are just random numbers to you, but you know what they mean to me? It means that 1 in 8 women and 1 in 1,000 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in the United States. Every 29 seconds, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer awareness is just 31 days in October. For me, and for many of women that are living with a breast cancer diagnosis, you know how many days it is? It is 365. It is 365 days that either we are living with going through chemo, radiation, or just wondering if our breast cancer is going to come back. It affects our family, it affects our loved ones, it affects how we show up. And how we show up truly, truly makes a difference. And just like JD said, initially for me, and let me just give you one other statistic before I go to that. Me as an African-American woman, my chances of surviving breast cancer was up 40%. So approximately 40% of African-American women die of breast cancer. Now, mind you, we do not have breast cancer as the rate of women that are of non-color. But because we are lax of getting our mammogram, that we don't do our self-examinations, a lot of times when cancer shows up, it shows up at stage 3. And also we are African-American women are very prevalent for triple negative breast cancer. So let me just take you on a journey of how I showed up initially with breast cancer. And let me start with this. I was sitting in the doctor's office. Now, mind you, 14 months prior to, which was in 2004 to be exact, I had my baseline mammogram. At that time, I was only 41 years old. 14 months later, I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and this is what I hear. I hear, Miss Thompson. Or maybe she said Sergeant Thompson because I was in uniform. You have breast cancer. I was all alone. I looked behind. I said, I know it has to be someone else that she's talking to. She must have someone else's results because I knew those could not be my results. I exercised. I ate right. I did all the things that you're supposed to do to reduce the risk of breast cancer. Didn't drink, didn't smoke. No illicit drugs, or mind you, I was active duty military, so that would have been a career killer anyways. But I did all the right things. But just because I did all the right things did not prevent me from getting breast cancer. Breast cancer does not discriminate. It doesn't care if you white, black, green, purple, blue, rich, poor. It does not care. It doesn't care about any of those things, even for me as a senior master sergeant who was a leader, who was diagnosed with breast cancer. Can I tell you that when I was diagnosed, I was afraid. The first thing that came to mind was a death sentence. I knew that this was my time to go. I knew that this was God's way of saying that she has lived her time. You come into the world, you're born to die. I just knew that was my time, but it wasn't my time. It wasn't my time. And this is the reason why it wasn't my time. It's because soon after that, I got breast cancer again. I got it again in 2010. Now, mind you, having to hear those words is devastating enough to hear them once, but to have to hear them twice, I went into a period of depression. I went into a period of despair because I knew that I had done something wrong. I knew that this was the way that God was punishing me. I did not, what you see me in pink, you see me all layered in pink. That was not my reality. I hid in shame. So many Black women, and you know what? It's not even Black women, it's women in general that live in shame of breast cancer, who are afraid to tell people, I have breast cancer, but don't tell anybody. Can you imagine the many times I've heard those words? Can you imagine someone feeling that they have a disease and that they felt that they did something to bring it onto themselves? Well, that's what a lot of us feel. So think about this. Breast cancer, you all see it as, oh, it's pink, it's 31 days. But for me and people that look like me, not because of my skin color, but because I'm a survivor and because I wear pink, is every single day I'm going back to the scene of a crime. So those 31 days, I'm reliving when I was diagnosed, not once, but twice. Not once, but twice. I am reliving this every single day. But let me tell you this much. God showed me my purpose. He showed me that, Tanja, just because you have breast cancer, you don't have to be in despair. Because if you are a child of mine, then you have faith. If you are a child of God, you will lift yourself out of that flame. You will relift yourself out of that despair, and you will find purpose in your journey. And he showed me my purpose. I hear people talk about, oh, I'm trying to find my purpose. Your purpose is not lost. God is just waiting on you. God waited on me until I was ready. And that was ready was the second time that I had breast cancer. You know what I did? My family supported me wholeheartedly, even when I did not want to be a breast cancer survivor. 2005, to me, I was not a breast cancer survivor because I didn't go through chemo and radiation. But the second time I had to go through chemo and radiation, that changed my entire world, that changed my entire outlook. I didn't even know people that looked like me that had breast cancer. Can you imagine having breast cancer and you looking through books? Nobody here looks like me. What does radiation look like to my skin? What does being bald look like? And I know I'm rocking this shortcut. I know I am. Yes, my hair came back, and it came back even better and greater. It came back better and greater because you know what? There is no more despair. There is no more of feeling like I'm in the gutter of being a breast cancer survivor. Like JD just said, my husband loved this woman right here. He did not leave me. There's so many women that talk about how their family has left them, how their husbands have left them, how they have no support whatsoever. I can say that God sent me a man that supported me, that held me up and made sure that I had everything that I needed to get through this journey. And you know what I did? I remember my grandmother. How many of y'all out there? Granny, Willie Mae Harris. You know what Granny told me? She said, baby. Now, Granny had probably 18 grandkids. She didn't say baby, a little girl, because it was a dear form of affection. She probably just couldn't remember all of our names. So she said, baby, little girl. She said, hold on to what you got and you let the rest of it go. And that is exactly what I did. I let all of that extra stuff go. You know what I did as a result of that? I formed a nonprofit. My nonprofit is called the Breast Cancer Mood Foundation. And I go around doing events just like this, talking about the importance of early detection. Early detection saved my life twice. Because if I had not gone to the doctor when I did, I would probably not even be here. I had HER2 positive. So remember I told you about from the 14 months, it had ravaged through both of my breasts. I could not even have a lumpectomy because the breast cancer had just invaded my body. It had invaded my breast. So they took everything. Now the thought process, mine, and basically what I believe the doctors told me was that you couldn't get breast cancer again, but I did. So I know my time is coming up. You only gave me 15 minutes, and I definitely want to give you all time for questions as well. As I mentioned, I had HER2 positive breast cancer, which is is not a rare form, but is a very fast growing and aggressive breast cancer. I started my nonprofit, as I mentioned earlier, the Breast Cancer Move Foundation, where I do events just like this, helping and talking about breast cancer. I did one about 2 weeks ago for a fraternity, because I mentioned, just like JD mentioned, men get breast cancer too. And I was talking about breast cancer and how it shows up in men. As I was leaving out in my breast, I also have a car. Maybe I need to bring it to one of you all's events so you can see the breast cancer beetle bug car. As I was leaving out in the breast cancer car, a man approached me and he said, "Ms. Thompson, thank you so very much for what you just said." He said, because it's one of the things that a lot of men don't hear and a lot of people don't talk about it. He said, "I've been diagnosed with breast cancer." For me, that was, my heart sunk, because I've known men that have breast cancer. And he said, "I haven't told my family." He said, "You're the first person that I've told." He said, "I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed because this is a woman's disease. How is it that I, as a man, have breast cancer?" He said, "I'm depressed. I don't know what to do." He said, "I'm going to have to go through radiation and chemo." And he said, "How am I going to live?" So I gave him some words of encouragement. And he just reached out to me not too long ago, and he told me that he had told his family that he had breast cancer, and they rallied around him. He had not expected that type of response, but he did. So let me tell you what else I do. I also am having what is called the Breast Cancer Tutu event, which is virtual, at the end of this month. So October the 30th, and it's free. October the 30th, I am having the virtual Breast Cancer Tutu tea. And it is an opportunity to hear more from me, but then also survivors as well as medical professionals to talk more about the importance of breast cancer and breast cancer awareness. And that if you all do nothing else from today's, what you're hearing from my mouth to your ears, because my grandmother she also said, "Tanja, baby, little girl, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you need to learn how to use them in proportion." So I need for you all to listen, if you do nothing else, women and men, and that is schedule your mammogram. Schedule your mammogram this month. Thank you, JD, for bringing up. That is my website, is www.breastcancerbugsme.com. I'm also an author. And remember, I mentioned earlier that I didn't know anyone that looked like me that had breast cancer. And that is, the name of the book is What to Expect When You Wasn't Expecting Breast Cancer. Also, for individuals that are either a patient or a survivor of breast cancer, my wonderful sponsors are giving out beautiful, beautiful gifts to our breast cancer survivors and our patients. So again, to register, there's the registration. You can register through Eventbrite. You can also go to my website and you will see a link that you can register there as well. Also, our theme this year, if you just go over a little bit, JD, the theme in yellow and other way. Yes, the theme is see something, feel something, say something. So hopefully that will motivate you to go and get tested, to check your breast. Hopefully you're doing that once a month so that if something does show up, then you'll know what it actually feels like. Yes. And to say something is to reach out to your healthcare provider, and don't take no for an answer. Don't take no for an answer. I will now open it up for questions. It's been, just a little bit over 15 minutes. So I wanted to see if anyone had any questions.
I'm sure we're going to have some questions, and thank you, Sister Thompson, for a heartwarming, just a remarkable story, a personal story, and accounts of what you went through and had to endure. And I know Phil may know this. I'm a Southern boy myself, so I come from the, down in the good old swamp area, not South Carolina, and there's a song that says we've come this far by faith.
Mhm.
And you have gave us a little bit, you focus a little bit about how God and how that spirit has kind of helped you through all of this, along with a good husband, right, and family and a support system, right, and that is definitely important in situations like this. But we want to open it up. We have about 4 or 5 minutes. But for our audience and our members tonight, if you want to engage, have some questions for Tanja, please unmute yourself and we'll bring you up on Spotlight and you can ask your questions. Any questions?
There's a question in the chat from the registration.
Okay, what did it say, Madam Secretary, you recall?
Yes, I posted in the chat. It says, for the speaker, how best to support family members in their second round of cancer?
Yeah, definitely speaking from experience. One of the things that I often tell individuals, especially in supporting anyone with breast cancer or any type of cancer really, and that is there's a 4-letter dirty word. And you know what that is? Is help. And the way that you help and the way that you social support is doing the things that you see that needs to be done. That can mean going to the grocery store. That can mean picking up children. That can mean dropping off children. That can mean cleaning. That can mean cooking. Those are the things that, as a breast cancer survivor, that I realized that I didn't want to ask for help, but because I had individuals that in my life that could see that those are the things that I needed, made all of the difference. One of the things that you don't want to ever say to definitely a breast cancer survivor is that I know how you feel. No, unless you walked in my shoes, you don't know how I feel. So I would say sometimes just showing up and just being there for the individual as they may be going through chemo. All of my chemo treatments, I had someone sitting with me. Now with COVID, that's not the case anymore. But I had individuals to take me out to lunch afterwards. So just showing up and not necessarily asking them what they need. If you're a good friend or a relative, you can see what they need.
Great. Any other questions? Any other questions?
There's more questions in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah, they're coming in. I'm sorry, Madam Secretary. Keep me on the straight and narrow. So from Emma Jones, I see it now. Thank you. How do we go about finding good healthcare / doctor to assist us with a diagnosis? That's from Miss Emma Jones. Hi, Emma. Thanks for joining us. Go ahead, Tanja.
I would say start with your primary healthcare provider. Start with them. They know you the best. Also, ensure that you do your monthly exams, and that is actually going in while you're in the shower, just rubbing to see if you feel any knots or any nodules. That's where it started for me, where I felt a knot and a nodule. And so also, when you talk about finding good healthcare providers, find someone that you trust as well. Because initially, with my second diagnosis, when I felt the nodule, they discounted. They told me that it was nothing, that I was being paranoid because I had breast cancer once before, and that now I was being paranoid. There's also what I call cultural competencies that a lot of our healthcare providers lack, and how they talk and how they actually treat individuals that don't look like them. And it doesn't matter. When you don't look like me, you don't know what I'm going through. And a lot of times you don't know how to have empathy for me. So find a healthcare provider that you trust and that you feel comfortable with in sharing and knowing that they're going, like, remember I said this and this, that they do more of this and less of this. And when they do this, they're giving you the resources that you need to go either get an examination or to get a second opinion.
Thank you. We're going to do one more question, and I'll ask Tanja, our Madam Secretary, if you don't mind. Tanja, we'll put your email in the chat box, and for the members that are still on, would you mind if they want to reach out to you and have communications after this at some point in time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We have one more question, and it's coming from Gabrielle Cantor. What early diagnosis measures are men supposed to take?
You know what? The thing with men is that men and so, you know, women, if you're touching your man, you're touching their pecs right here. If you feel something, it's usually for men, it's a little hard nodule that they will feel right under their skin. That is usually the first. And if it doesn't go away, if it's something that stays and that's something that's persistent, I would say immediately go. For men, a lot of times when they are diagnosed, they're not diagnosed the way that women are. A lot of times they are diagnosed with a more aggressive and a higher stage, sometimes stage 3 breast cancer. So men as well as women, just feel yourself. Just feel to see if you feel something. Usually it's a pea size, and usually it's hard. If you feel something like that, go to your healthcare provider and ask for a test. Usually is most of the diagnosis, that absolute diagnosis is via a biopsy, and they'll biopsy it.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead, because I had this readily available. I'm going to go ahead and put your email in the chat.
Mhm.
You know, when you talk about healthcare, and that's an entirely different, you know, a whole nother topic, subject that we know people of color, more especially Blacks, are disproportionately affected by poor healthcare, and then with poor healthcare, you're going to get poor outcomes. Continuity care is another issue. PCMs who don't have that cultural competency that you talk to, and there's a host of other things, right? Blacks can take more pain than others, so you know that whole we get it. We're over our time, and Tanja, I just again want to thank you for being with us tonight. While I know we don't have 100 people tonight, we're usually around 100. I know there's a lot going on tonight, but those that are with us, we're so happy. I heard someone said the other day, JD, I have PTSD from Zoom events. I'm like, I get it. But this is what we're doing now for the near and short term. On behalf of the branch, we will provide an honorarium in the amount of $250 to your foundation. We thank you again. And if you ever need anything, we've shared your flyer. Feel free to stick with us here tonight. But I know both you and Phil, see Phil came on the line, are very busy individuals. All the best to your family, your son. I know he went through a few things, but he's looking well. God bless you, and God bless the entire Thompson family, okay?
Thank you, JD. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, those we wrapped up that segment. Let's give Ms. Thompson a round of applause, a virtual round of applause. All right, so we're going to get into some of these meat and potatoes. There will be one change to the agenda tonight. Our education committee is actually at another meeting with APS tonight, so they will not be presenting. But we have our chair of religious affairs, the Reverend Delicia Davis, with us tonight. She's going to come on and give us some updates. We know. I'll let her tell you what it's all about. I won't spoil everything, but Reverend Davis, you're with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, Mr. President. We've
Aye.
already had such a powerful meeting tonight, and I'm grateful for this time. Ms. Rosa and I have been working very hard recently in two different areas. The first area, as we know, of the last few months have been working on COVID vaccinations, just encouraging people to get it. Those who have had difficulty with making appointments, we've been able to do so, and keeping people aware of the sites that are open. So this branch has helped at this point over 25,562 appointments between first and second doses, and provided information on a continual basis to the community. And so I'm very proud of the work that our branch is doing. It's not just religious affairs, but we've been able to share information. It's continued to be shared. The second thing that we've been working on is upcoming this Sunday. The state conference is putting together Souls to the Polls. And as we all know, this election is critical for not only for our Commonwealth, but also for our nation. And Virginia is going to be a deciding factor in a lot of things. So it's very important that we make sure that people get out to vote. Not telling anybody who to vote for, but the fact that you do make it out to vote. And so Sunday, the 24th is Souls to the Polls Day. Out of all of the jurisdictions in Virginia, only 23 areas are having Sunday voting. We are fortunate to have it. Arlington, Fairfax, the city of Alexandria, and the city of Falls Church, and also Prince William County are all having it on this one day, October the 24th. I'm going to put in the chat a link to the document, which is a toolkit that has been sent to faith leaders, not simply the pastors in this area, but we've also partnered our forces with those of the Baha'i faith, as well as the imams from the mosque, as well as Jewish faith leaders as well, so that we make sure that as many people as possible, people of faith, get out to vote. So we're asking everyone that can to go and vote on Sunday, because our Sunday voting is at risk if we don't have good numbers this year. If you don't, please check in at least with your faith leaders at whatever faith community you are a part of. Make sure they have the toolkit. If they need information from us, we are more than willing to send it. And I'm also putting it in the chat so that you have access to it as well. And the one thing that we're asking each member of this branch to do is to commit to sharing information on voting with those who are in your circle and your spheres of influence on that day, so that we make sure that we get the vote out, and definitely make sure that we're combining our faith with our rights at this point. So thank you, Mr. President. I'm grateful to Ms. Rosa for all that she does and Macedonia is doing for the community there, and for everyone who works alongside us. If anyone wants to be a part of religious affairs, we meet on the second Tuesday of every month from 5 to 6. Blessings.
Blessings to you too, Pastor Reverend Davis and Rosa Dunkley. Thank you for all that you do, and you will continue to do in that capacity. Souls to the Polls this Sunday. Again, get the word out. I'm going to vote on Sunday, all right? Because I know this doesn't happen much. There's General Assembly has, made this happen. Arlington has allocated. Arlington County government has allocated a number of funds to open up these polls, and trust and believe. It's like one of those old adages. If you don't use it, what's going to happen?
Lose it.
You're going to lose it. So let's encourage our in our circles, in our faith-based communities. Let's encourage everyone to get out and get to the polls this Sunday and vote. Okay. Thank you again, Pastor Davis and Ms. Dunkley. With that being said, we're going to move over kind of tied in to our Outstanding Political Action Committee.
Okay, good evening, everyone. we're missing Megan tonight. She's traveling and celebrating a birthday, so we wish her a happy birthday. I think the theme of the Political Action Committee report tonight is gratitude. We are so fortunate to be a branch that is firing on all cylinders. And, you know, as we're getting updates from the Virginia State Conference Political Action Committee, it's so closely aligned with the Religious Affairs Committee. And every time we reach out, the Religious Affairs Committee is already exceeding every already high expectation that the state conference has set. So the other announcements from the Political Action Committee, we launched a data primarily along with Jan Marie Pena, and some of our volunteers had been working on voter registration efforts. That ended this week when voter registration dates closed, and now we're in core Get Out the Vote initiatives. And so the Souls to the Polls, our religious affairs leaders are leading so successfully. And then we launched a canvas this Saturday in Green Valley. We still have a handful of packets, and we would love other volunteers if you're interested in doing some canvas. It's just some canvassing. It's just a couple of hours of time, leaving literature, putting the word out there about where to vote, when to vote, how to vote. Again, nonpartisan. We warmly welcome your contributions. Then we also just want to extend gratitude for everyone's attendance at the forums. We held the 2 forums in September, and we're really proud particularly of how the forum came together with the questionnaire. This is again a moment of tremendous gratitude. The entire Political Action Committee contributed to these huge efforts over the summer, our interns and all of our active members of the Political Action Committee. So just extending the greatest of gratitude to all the committee members who've chipped in, putting our questionnaires together, and getting the forum put together. So we're really grateful to everybody who has worked on that. We want to give a shout out to Wilma for her recognition coming up at the banquet next week. The Political Action Committee is particularly grateful to Wilma Jones and to Juliet Hisney for leading those forums. It's such a critical part to make sure the speakers stay on topic and that our members really learn from the forums about the respective positions of each party. And we're excited to announce we're having another intern joining us in the spring. So we're excited about that. This is an intern for credit. So just continuing to see growth and more collaboration and just great contributions from all of our committee members. So lots of gratitude and an additional reminder to get out the vote among all of us in our general membership and in our social and professional circles. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie and Megan, the entire PAC team. I tell you what, I still the branch receives accolades, both written and verbal, about the great work, those questionnaires, right? And how they were constructed. And it was not only unique, it was something, it was to the point, right? And our forms, more especially, and I don't know if Wilma's still with us, Wilma gave out that act right? It wasn't a time for you to come into the NAACP and give us your campaign speech. We wanted to hear the issues. And both she and Juliet, I think she kind of gassed Juliet up, because when Juliet came in, Juliet was like the second, got a hold of his way. So, but at the end of the day, we did what we were supposed to do as the NAACP. So thank you for your leadership, Jamie, and putting that all together, you and Megan, and get out and vote. That's what it's all about. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, next, we're going to move on to, here we go, our Criminal Justice Committee. Heather.
Hi.
And for me, I don't know, I'm going to say something real quick.
Okay, please, I'm right here.
Kent Carter, I think I mentioned this last month, but Kent Carter, our first VP, has chaired our committee for actually a number of years. And Kent actually sat on the PPG for about 7 months, and he's on another committee. So, Heather came into the committee, and Heather has all this energy, and Kent does as well. But we wanted to give Heather an opportunity to get in a leadership position, and she is now. Kent's still kind of checking it out. Both she, Heather Kelly, and Matt Rogers are our chair and vice chair, respectively. So, without further ado, Heather, the floor is yours.
Thank you and good evening. It's a tough act to follow, the Religious Affairs and then the Political Action Committee and all that gratitude. But I'd like to add some evangelism for committee membership. I joined the NAACP last year, got involved in the Criminal Justice Committee, last year. Here's my special helper. Joined the committee last year and got really active in it when the issue of the Community Oversight Board started to heat up. And it's been hot for a year, but we really put a huge push on starting in May to rewrite and edit and try to get as much as we could to reflect what all the good work that Kent Carter and the PPG committee did to get as much of what was recommended to be in the ordinance for a meaningful community oversight board for police misconduct, serious allegations of police misconduct. We didn't get all we wanted. We got pretty far from all we wanted, but there is a lot of work to be done. And so I am evangelist for committees, not just the Criminal Justice Committee, but for all of the committees, for members of the Arlington branch. It is fascinating and rewarding to be active in one of the committees. So join us, anyone that appeals to you. You don't have to be a lawyer to be on the Criminal Justice Committee. You don't have to be a faith leader to be on the Religious Affairs Committee. Just join us. We have stuff for you to do. And to that point, in the last month, we have had a lot of activities in the Criminal Justice Committee, some of which JD mentioned early on in the meeting tonight. We have had another tragic death in custody at the Arlington County Jail. A year ago, it was Mr. Darrell Beckton. And just this month, another gentleman died in custody. And we are starting to we've been trying for a year to get answers about what happened with Darrell Beckton, to no avail. Hopefully that will change now that there are some more irons in the fire, but with the more recent death in custody, we're certainly concerned that we have a pattern and practice issue that needs to be addressed in the Arlington County Jail. We've had meetings with the Office of Attorney General, the Office of Civil Rights recently, and we're surprised and dismayed to find out that for pattern and practice reform, there's nothing really that the Office of the Attorney General Civil Rights Division can do, because the way the Virginia statutes are currently written, it's interpreted that sheriffs are not in a law enforcement role when when inmates are in custody. They are in a custodial role. We started at the local level with the Commonwealth Attorney, with the Sheriff's Office, and have not had a whole lot of success. And that's my understatement for the evening. We've had no success getting information about what in the world happened to Mr. Beckton. And incredibly, the Office of Attorney General suggested that that we might want to call the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division Special Litigation in DC, instead of trying to get anything done at the state level. But we are going to try every avenue we can to try to get some change that will save lives. What's happening in custody in the Arlington County Jail is completely unacceptable. And we are going to continue to do that magic JD word, agitate, until we get some action, until we get some answers. And it's a lot of work. We welcome anyone to join us to try to help on this issue. We have the Community Oversight Board has been, that ordinance is in place. The publication of the call for appointments is coming up soon. I think it's going to be advertised next week.
It's out.
Oh, it's out. Okay. And so that's going to be happening soon. That's something we'll be keeping an eye on. Once the board is in place, we'll be working with the Arlington County Board and the chair on making sure that we have a say in the memorandum of understanding that is going to be very important in how the Community Oversight Board operates. We have a FOIA request in for information about the more recent death in custody, and are pursuing information about trying to get some more information about the hiring process for the police chief, Arlington County Police Chief. Lots going on. Come join us. It's very interesting, very, very rewarding.
Thank you, Heather, for your hard work. And for many folks on, she said you don't have to be a lawyer, even though she's a lawyer. We have a couple lawyers on that committee, and they, I'm so proud of you, Heather, and the entire team. And this work is rewarding. We're policy driven. I said that earlier. So this is not about just calling folks out. There's changes we know that need to be made, and we're going to work diligently and previously to make sure that happens. So thank you, Heather, and all the best to the puppy. Like he's going to sleep.
Oh yeah,
Ain't
finally.
ain't that something? All right, take care. Thank you. A lot of work there in criminal justice, y'all. A lot of work. Y'all just don't know. And yeah, the system. Okay, scholarship committee.
Hello, I'm Jill DeWitt. I'm one of the co-chairs for the scholarship committee, along with Adora Williams and Karen Nightingale. And as a segue from talking about the criminal justice committee, I just want to say that right before this, I was at one of the sessions of the Virginia State Conference, and our branch actually got 2 shout outs at this justice and accountability session. And one was for the work of the Criminal Justice Committee on advising on the new Civilian Oversight Board. And the other one was for the Scholarship Committee, the fact that our branch had raised over $60,000 that we were able to distribute last year. So we're going to be working hard again this year to try to give out as much money to as many Arlington students as possible. If you'd like to join our branch or our committee meetings, you're more than welcome. They're normally on the 3rd Thursday of the month at 7:30 p.m. We actually had to change the time this month because of the Virginia State Conference meetings, but next month in November, we'll be meeting on November 18th at 7:30. And in addition to joining our committee, if you're interested, we're also going to be looking for readers to review the applications when we get them in this year. So it will be, mid to late February that we're going to be looking for people that are members of the branch to read the essays. They're really wonderful to be able to read. And I found it really rewarding and inspiring to see all the personal stories that were submitted last year. So if you're interested in volunteering for that as well, please reach out to myself or Adora Williams or Karen Nightingale, and we'd love to have you join us. I think that's it. Pass it back to JD.
Okay, all right, that's it. Well, thank you, Jill. And I know I saw a door on earlier and Karen. They may have popped off, but thank you for all the work you've done in the scholarship program this year. The number of applicants we got, we've talked about this before, and what we're, how we're pivoting and moving to the mentorship aspect, on the backside, and it's a lot of good things to come. And it's only because of the 3 of you and many others on that committee that really understand what's at stake in our community and what our students need. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Okay. Here we go. Now this topic right here, we can do an entire meeting on this topic, but Kellen Macbeth, our housing chair. Mike Heminger, are you here as well? I'm gonna go ahead and let Kellen run this. Kellen, Housing Committee Chair, Kellen Macbeth, y'all.
Thanks, JD. And so first, I just popped into the chat and added a link to sign up for our fair housing training. So we're partnering with the Virginia Office of Fair Housing to offer a fair housing training from 1 to 4 p.m. this coming Sunday, October 24th. So we encourage everyone to sign up, even if you're not on the housing committee or maybe don't know very much about housing discrimination or fair housing. This is a critical aspect of what NAACP branches all around the country are, have been working on or are supposed to be working on. The more information all of us have about what people's rights are under fair housing law, and the more we know about how that process works, the better we can advise people and serve as advocates out within the community when we hear about issues that tenants or even homeowners are having. Just having knowledge of this process is really important. So I definitely encourage people to sign up for that training. The trainer is fun and engaging as well. So it should be a good time. In addition to that, we're working on quite a few things. JD already mentioned the Serrano. So we continue to meet with the tenant advocates and the other advocacy organizations like Voice and individual leaders as well, to continue to identify solutions to ensure that a situation like that does not occur again, as well as continue holding leaders in Arlington County and within AHC accountable for what happened and seeking justice for the residents who went through that and who are still going through issues. We are also, as JD mentioned, moving forward with our 2021 legislative priorities. So these are the priorities for the 2022 General Assembly session that will kick off in January. So we've met with, I think, about half of the Arlington delegation to the General Assembly at this point. We have meetings scheduled with all but one of the rest of the members of the General Assembly to talk about our 4 key priorities. So that's advancing sort of proactive enforcement of fair housing and asking localities to develop strategies around integration and desegregation, as well as putting restrictions on how criminal history information can be used by landlords when they are making decisions about who to rent to. We're also pushing for rent stabilization, so giving local governments the authority to set limits on how much rent can increase from year to year to ensure that just because we have companies like Amazon coming into Arlington and the market will allow landlords to charge 20% or more increases per year in rent, that's not something they do, because that's bad for our residents and bad for the community. And we're also pushing for having the state create a new sort of agency or office to proactively enforce tenant rights. So instead of having tenants have to sue in court to advance their own rights, this would give the state a role to investigate and proactively enforce those rights for those tenants who bring complaints forward, similar to how fair housing works. So we're really excited about that. We're getting traction on each of them to different degrees. As JD mentions, we're also working with the county to ensure that those priorities are reflected in the legislative priorities for the Arlington County Board. We're also planning a fair housing conference for, it looks like, February of next year. And we're going to be partnering with some organizations. So the Equal Rights Center based in DC, which does fair housing casework, as well as Home of Richmond, which is the sort of Virginia statewide fair housing organization that they work on policy as well as casework. We're really excited about that. And that is meant to coincide with another thing that we're working on, which is we're part of the DC metro area's regional assessment of fair housing impediment. So that's looking at segregation. It's looking at opportunity gaps between residents of color and white residents, and how housing has played a role in inequities when it comes to income, school attainment, or educational attainment, employment, transportation, access, a whole lot of things. So we're really excited for that conference. We're lining up speakers and panelists, and we're making good progress towards that. And it should coincide with the public comment period for the regional assessment or report that comes out. So we've been sitting on an advisory committee for that and working to advocate regionally and also with the county to ensure that the final solutions and report that come out from that effort reflect the work that actually needs to be done within Arlington County to create some real change, to advance integration and advance opportunities for all of our residents. So that's kind of a highlight of what we're working on, but we're super excited. And as the other chairs have said, I encourage you guys to join our housing committee meetings. They happen the first Tuesday of each month, except for next month because that's election day. So we're pushing it a week, but we can use all the help we can get. And we're having a good time moving forward with these issues.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to your committee. You know, what Kellen has done, he and the team in our housing committee in the past year, it's just magnificent. And for those you don't know, Kellen has a very broad and really deep understanding of housing authorities, how it really works, how the sausage is made, right? But we know there's the system, the way it was put together, right? Still, it's not fair, to say the least, to everyone here in Arlington. And if you've heard stories, right? If you've read Wilma Jones' book, you know a little history about Arlington, housing in Arlington. Those policies are put in place for a reason. So we're trying to eradicate all of that. That's our job even here in 2021 in progressive and inclusive Arlington. You best believe it. We have issues. So thank you, Kellen, for your time and attention and all that you do for the citizens in the Arlington branch of the NAACP. Okay. Housing Committee, Education Committee, as I stated, is out attending a meeting right now, but I will just say this before we go to our environmental and climate justice. We met last week, I along with the Education Committee and the State Chair of Education for the Virginia State Conference, Dr. Amy Tillerson Brown. We met with the leadership team of APS, leadership team being the superintendent, his chief of staff, and Ms. Kimberly Graves, I get all the titles, and a few other people. And we talked about an hour on VLP, virtual learning program. And if you're following that closely, you have students in APS, there's been some shortcomings. In fact, they have admitted APS to some, excuse me, some failures on their part. So more to follow. You can read the report, committee report, which I've attached, all the committee reports. But next month, our education committee will come in and give you some updates. But if you're interested, reach out to our education committee, learn more about what they're doing. They're really involved, okay? And we're gonna be on time today, I think. We're gonna move over to Ms. Gabrielle Cantor with our Environmental and Climate Justice Committee. Gabrielle, and you're vice chair?
Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to the end of the meeting here. I'll be quick.
Your vice chair with you?
I'm not sure if Kenya
Okay.
is on the call.
Okay.
Kenya, for everyone's information, is our new vice chair, co-chair. We're sort of using the terms interchangeably. She and I are working together as part of the chairs of the Environment and Climate Justice Committee. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I think the biggest thing to update everyone on is that we are going to be having 2 more birding events as part of our fall Black and Hispanic birder and natural series. Sorry, it's a mouthful there, but we're excited to have both our same leaders from last time, as well as a new leader who is Hispanic, and we're got some really great things to see out there. I know it's going to start getting colder, but the dates are October 30th and November 6th. I believe the October 30th date is not an early morning, so if you were sort of thinking about it, I recommend signing up or encouraging others to sign up. If the price is an issue for people that you may know, we have a scholarship situation, so it should not be a barrier for anyone in that regard. And I'm going to put the link to that in the chat. But other updates that we have, we talked a little bit about the bills that are going forward in the state legislature and the policy that has come out from the county itself. They mentioned a lot of things that we think are important, including the tree canopy and the energy codes for new buildings in Virginia. And so we support the county's decision to encourage those bills to be passed. We also have been discussing different possibilities for the tree canopy in Arlington, which as some of you may have known is we're trying to make it a more equitable program, and we're working with Eco Action Arlington and doing some on the ground canvassing work with that. So if you are interested in volunteering for that, you can always get involved that way, or reach out to me if you just want to learn more about the environment and climate justice activities that we're doing. So those are probably the three main updates, and I will add the link to the Birdwatch event in the chat here. We will probably also be sending out a correspondence, at least via Facebook, so that you all can see some of the bios of the people who will be there. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Gabrielle. And I wish Kenyatta was with us, but I know she was a little under the weather a few days ago and recovering. But yeah, vice chair is appropriate, is really the appropriate term we should be using, but I know it can be used interchangeably. So I'm trying to move us to vice chair, right? Because that's the way it starts at the in the NAACP. That's how we should be saying it, right? But it's all good. Thank you. I'm going to try to get out to this birder event. I'm going to need to do one, maybe the 30th, but thank you for that. And I think it'd be really neat to get out there and do that, along with everything else that's going on in your committee. So if you're on this call and you want to know a little something about environment and climate justice, please reach out to Gabrielle and the team there. Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay. I am going to, we're right at 8:28 and we went through the agenda tonight. We made it. And I want to, and I'll stay on as always for a few minutes to entertain and have conversation with those that may not want to talk in open meeting. But are there any questions from anyone in attendance right now? So just come off mute. Again, we need your, I can say this much. We at the executive committee got a report, received a report yesterday about our Freedom Fund banquet. And we had a goal of a monetary goal, at least for donations coming in. And we have made that. We made that. We made that goal already. But we still have about a week and a half left. We made that goal based upon a lot of the sponsorships. But we want to see our members, again, attend this banquet, right? Your contribution to the NAACP and just being there goes a long way. Many people may look at our treasury report and say, wow, the NAACP has done a lot. They get a lot of money. Let me tell you something. Karen Nightingale and I were chatting, the past president, last night. 10, 12 years ago when I came to this branch, like I used to say down south, we didn't have a pot to piss in and the window to throw it out of. We've come a long way because of you. And those donations go to children, they go to students, they go to programming, they go to speakers like Tanja Thompson, who came in, who we're gonna give a $250 donation to her foundation tonight. And it's just wonderful. So your money goes a long way, your donations at least. Thank you, Gabrielle, for that. It is now 8:30 and I am going to call.
There is one more question asking when is the next environmental climate justice meeting?
Yeah, Gabrielle put it in the chat. The next ECJ meeting will be Sunday, November 7th at 7:30. Gabrielle, you mind putting your email in the chat? Well, she already put it there. Great. That's where it's at. I think that question came from Sunny. All right, okay, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for attending.